Hey guys, Carl Jackson here. I just want to take a minute or so to explain why I think President Trump was right to call out John Legend, Chrissy Tiegen, Van Jones when it comes to criminal justice reform. Listen, the left constantly tries to revive history, going all the way back through the abolishment of slavery and even through the civil rights legislation. I mean, just think about the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment, which abolished slavery, gave black citizenship and ultimately the right to vote. How many people know that that was signed into law? Or the Constitution was amended by Republicans? How many people know that Abraham Lincoln, that emancipated the slaves, was a Republican? How many people know that it wasn't Carol Moseley Braun that was the first black Democratic senator, but it was Hiram Rhodes Revelle, a black Republican during Reconstruction, that was the first black senator? How many people know that civil rights legislation, such as the Anti-KKK Act, were all passed in the 1860s and early 1870s before Democrats even thought about civil rights legislation when it came to blacks in 1964, which, by the way, Lyndon B. Johnson needed blacks in order to get that, or needed Republicans, I'm sorry, to get that legislation passed? How many know that it was the Republican Party that implemented affirmative action under the leadership of Richard Nixon and Art Fletcher? I mean, this is stuff, it goes on and on and on. The big switch, look how the left tried to revise that and says that the Republicans are the party of racism, when in fact it was the Democratic Party all along, a Democratic Party that were the majority slave owners, over 90% of slaves owned by Democrats in the Democratic Party, the Deep South. So I think President Trump was right to fight back against revisionist history. They're not going to give him credit for opportunity zones. They're not going to give him credit for the booming economy that's helping black Americans, Latino Americans, all Americans. And now they don't want to give him credit for signing criminal justice reform into law. And I think it was a good idea for him to fight back and set the record straight. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at Carl Jackson Show, Facebook, Carl Jackson Radio, and subscribe to this YouTube page. Peace.